podium our first speaker for the afternoon session, Mrs. Ifueko Omoigui-Okauru. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. But before you leave, could you please let me know your name?
My name is Adele Shegu.
Sorry?
My name is Adele Shegu.
Adele Shegu. Thank you very much, Adele. Good afternoon. You know, I think I deserve a round of applause like Ali Baba too. Let me take some of his, his warmth. And please let me also introduce my husband, who is here to support me, Mr. Okauru. Thank you very much. Now, I have 45 minutes with this very, very impressive crowd. But before I start, I've been told to try to give examples of my story and also to, in that process, encourage you in the environment that we are in to ensure that ultimately you achieve success in your lives. But I don't know who I'm talking to. And so talking about my story, which is very different from the environment we find ourselves in today, may not exactly replicate the kinds of challenges you're facing. And everybody here is different. We all have our own stories. We all have our own concerns. We all have our own frustrations. So to provide a context for me, to ensure that, because for me, at the end of the day, it's that we leave this hall with new ideas. New ideas, not just that I talked, but new ideas that you actually implement. I'd like to engage you a little bit. Let me have an idea of the age profile in this room, just by a show of hands. How many of us are below 13? In other words, you are not teenagers, you are less than 13. Just raise your hands. Okay, I like that, by the way. I like that those who are less than 13 came for a teenage conference. And for me, one of the rules for that is that always think outside the box. Don't be driven only by what you're told, to the extent that it's about learning, continuous improvement, and at the core of it is what will help and improve your life. Who are those between the ages of 13 and 19? Just by a show of hands. I can't tell. Up, please. Okay, 13 and 19, I think you are the majority. Who are 20 to 30? 20 to 30, so we have spattering. Over 30. All right, thank you. So the bulk of this room are in the age group of 13 to 19. And so some of the stories I'll be talking about will touch on that. But beyond that, I hope that those who are less than 13 and those who are over 19 will also ask questions, learn from what we've done, because basically the principles are the same. Now, I cast myself back to when I was this age, and I'm trying to imagine what I was thinking. I remember on some of those occasions I used to say, my mother is very wicked. Do you all feel the same way? My mom is too harsh. It's usually the mothers, by the way, that are too harsh. Okay, my mother is too harsh, but my dad was also very harsh. And I really couldn't really fathom why they were the way they were. But now I know better. And what I called harsh in those days was really parents trying to instill discipline in one's life. Discipline to guide you, to keep you focused, to recognize that hard work is important. But I never understood. But I did it. And in a way I was lucky. Because, and maybe again that's why in the church environment, you can also say the grace of God. Because some of us don't listen. When counseled in the same environment, same home, we don't listen to our parents. We don't listen to our seniors, or not necessarily seniors, juniors, words of advice. We feel that we know it all. And perhaps that's one lesson I'd like to leave with you. We are all part of a community, be it the local community we are part of, be it the Nigerian community we are part of, and be it the global community that comes up on our phones. We're all Facebooking, tweeting, LinkedIning, whatever it is that we do on our phones, spacing, Instagramming, anymore, Snapchatting. What else? Tell me. Point. Pinging. Aha, pinging. I'm poking. Remember poking Facebook? You poke me back. So that, and when you're doing all this, you don't even know who you're doing it with sometimes. You just get to be friends with people from wherever in the world. So you're all part of that global community. And because of that, we need to recognize, therefore, that learning does not end and start with you. We learn from everyone else. So it's very important to listen and to learn from others. Now, again, because of that we don't listen, I was saying to myself, are there things that my parents may have told me, or my teachers may have told me, that it entered one ear and came out of the ear? I can tell you lots of it. Because as I'm over 50 now, and as I look at my years in this life, I'm saying to myself, why are there things I'm just discovering now that I didn't know then? And believe me, it's not for want of anybody not telling me. It's because those were the things perhaps they told me, I didn't listen. What are some of those things? Some of the things that I know now that I didn't realize when I was your age was that life is not perfect. And that your friend could stab you at your back. And that the same way that there is good, there could also be evil. I also learned that it's good to be optimistic, but sometimes in the optimism, you are not realistic. And it's important that you bear the realism of the environment you are in mind. Let me give an example. A lot of us in the age group that are here are either in school or planning to be in college, or are thinking they finished school and are thinking what next. And we're very optimistic that we want to get a job, isn't it? How many of us want a job by the time we finish school? Okay, nearly everyone. What kind of job do we want? Can I just have some sample people in the audience? What kind of job do we want? Yes, please. Could you just speak out? Okay, you want to be a computer programmer. Why? So what I hear from you is that you want to be a computer programmer because you find that everything we're doing, technology touches it. Whether you are in Nigeria or wherever, and you want to be at the top of that. Very well thought through. Any other? Yes. What kind of job do you want to be? You want to be a lawyer and own your own law firm and be the best. Very good. Who else? What kind of job do we want? From this end. Tell me what is on your mind. Don't look at your friends. Don't listen to everybody whispering in your... Tell me exactly what you want. Yes, please.
I want to practice my profession as a surveyor and also have a big surveying firm.
What kind of surveying firm? So there's land, there's real estate, there's...
Land and geoinformatics.
Land and geoinformatics, okay? Again, I see the technology bent in what you're doing. What else? What kind of jobs we want to look for as we get out into real life? Remember, I'm saying we can be optimistic, but you need to place reality. Anybody here? Want to give it a shot? So you don't want a job? You want a job?
Yes.
You want a job? So how do you want to live?
Entrepreneurship.
Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So you don't want a job, but you want to be an entrepreneur. Can you explain?
Basically, what I've learned from school is that the way Nigeria is looking, it's better you learn to fend for yourself. So I believe entrepreneurship is the only way Nigeria can get better.
Yeah. So I like that. You want to be an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur is not just an entrepreneur. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, those that say they understand what I mean, what do I mean? Oh, you thought I was going to sit down and be talking? Sorry. This young lady here. She said, yes, she understands that an entrepreneur is not just an entrepreneur. Can you explain what I meant?
You mean that you have to start from somewhere. Like, for instance, you won't just wake up to say that you want to be an entrepreneurship on your own because you don't have the ideas and...
Hold on, let's hear from her. Listen. Remember what I told you earlier? That when we're at an age, we don't want to listen. She's talking, you are already commenting. Listen. Listening doesn't mean you agree. But you may lose what she says if you don't let her finish. Yes, go ahead.
Like Savella said, you won't just wake up to say that I want to open an entrepreneur shop or something else like that. You have to start from somewhere. Like, you have to...
Hold it. Can we listen?
You have to gather information and ideas from people ahead of.
Okay, so I think what she's saying, my understanding of what she's saying is that all entrepreneurs must have a starting point, and I believe that's what he will do anyway. Slightly different from what I meant by the entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs. And let me explain what that is. There's nothing like saying, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur doing what? The young man or lady that says she wants to own a law firm is an entrepreneur. I hope you understand that. You finish law school, you want to own a law firm. It's her business. So, when you want to be an entrepreneur, what do you want to do as an entrepreneur? We need to know that. Have you thought about it? If you haven't, it's fine. If you haven't,
I have contrasting ideas.
let us know. And again, sorry, another thing that I've learned in growing up, that remember my topic is also path to success. There is no right answer, by the way, or wrong answer. So don't be scared. Those who have ventured, if at the higher risk you take, the higher returns you make. What you think may not work may be that thing that will work. Don't be hesitant in what you, and if you fail, what do? You get up. When Adele was reading my CV, I was this and that. He only talked about the successes. He didn't talk about the failures. But believe me, there are several failures. I have also tried to be an entrepreneur. I founded a firm in 1996. As I speak, the firm went up and it went down. And now I'm trying to bring it back up again. So, behind whatever success you want are failures. And let me tell you, and what you call failures is depending on how you frame it, or what you call mistakes. They are learning points. What is never ventured is never gained. If you don't make a mistake, you will never know not to make that mistake again. One of our daughters likes jumping on the bed. She's that age. And I've told my husband, the day she falls on the floor is the day she will know not to jump the way she jumps. But you know, you manage that fall so she doesn't crack her head. If you do not make a mistake, if you do not say what is on your mind, you can never know whether it was what you wanted to say or not. Please remember that, because I feel a lot of people who struggle to express themselves, who are not sure, don't let that bother you. Believe me, don't ever let that bother you. So tell us, what are those contracting ideas you have? I'm sorry I'm picking on you, but who knows, this may be the greatest entrepreneur living ever.
Basically, okay, before I came back from school, I had this idea about making shoes and basically meeting schools and making an agreement that I'll make a specific kind of shoe for your school, put your logo and everything on the shoe, and it will. Then I came back also, and during the holiday there was this thing going through my head because of fuel situation in Nigeria and the probability of fuel scarcity. I thought of starting fuel delivery service. Instead of going to buy fuel, we deliver it to your home or your office. So that is basically.
Okay, I can now understand why. Because really, those two things he said are the mindset of an entrepreneur. Somebody who's thinking of the problems not as problems, as opportunities. And believe me, that's another lesson I'd like to leave with you. And thinking of how to solve those problems and translate those opportunities to business. And in both cases, brilliant ideas. I happen to be the chairman of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund in Lagos. And in one of our inaugural board meetings, we invited Banky W, the musician, to come to address us. And we're just asking him that what are the kind of ideas he feels in the entertainment industry they don't have. And this is what he said. He said, if you look at the, I think you have this, I can't remember the name of the show, AMA Awards every year. Usually, the entertainers are decked with Nigerian clothes. So we wear Nigerian fashion. So the hats, maybe the belts, the shirts, the suits are all made in Nigeria. But one area that is not made in Nigeria yet, and is yet to find the proper quality that is comparable to the clothes we make, are shoes. And this young man just talked about shoes. Now, for every good idea, there are thousands of people thinking about the idea. But who makes a success of it? Who makes a success of it?
The one that does.
The one that does it. Similarly, fuel delivery services, fantastic idea. I'm sure several people have the same idea. I'm sure you have several ideas. Who makes a success of it? The person that does it. So another lesson I'd like to leave with you today is it's good for us to be optimistic, which is where I started. It's good for us to seek jobs or be self-employed. That's a job in itself, just that we are the ones creating the job for ourselves. But stay grounded in reality. What does the environment need? Don't limit yourself to only what the Nigerian environment needs, by the way. The computer programmer, for example, could be thinking about some solution that is required not just in Nigeria but worldwide. Okay? But move from thought to what? Action. Very, very important. Move from thought to action. And even if you do not have everything it takes, start. Just start. Now, as you start, you don't get everything right. You improve on it. And you may even find that that's not even what you want to do. You drop it, you do something else. Sometimes a lot of us are prisoners of our thoughts, of our ideas, of our environment. And that doesn't move us too far. Linked to that is focus. And in talking about focus, we're at the age where there's a tendency for us to get distracted. What are the things that could distract us? What are those things that could distract us? What? What's that? Peer pressure. Now, peer pressure is a very complicated word. Can somebody explain what peer pressure is to me? Peer pressure could... What is peer pressure? Want to explain?
Sorry, is it how peer pressure can affect us or the explanation of peer pressure? Okay, pressure from your peers, from your friends.
Okay, pressure from your friends. They may not be your peers, though. Your peers are the people, maybe your classmates, people in the same community, and so on. But yes, that could distract you. Why could they distract you? Can anybody give me an example of a story they had where they were distracted by their friends? Okay, just tell me what you're going to say.
I think peer pressure can distract you because if you have friends that they're not really focused and don't have anything they want to achieve, you might actually have something in mind, and then you might tell your friends that they don't share the same idea with you, and they'll start discouraging you and all that, and then you feel you are wrong while you are really right. And where you have the opportunity to make a difference, because of your friends, you won't be able to make the difference.
Give her a round of applause. Fantastic explanation. You know, I remember in those days, my mother would tell me, read your book. Friends, yes, those friends, they are good today, but will you see them tomorrow? You know, she's right. She's right. I didn't understand it then. If I say to myself now, how many of my classmates do I even live in the same town with? Maybe one. And even that one, I don't see. So if the future is such that the people that are telling you to do certain things and you're listening and they are carrying you down, they are discouraging you, they are affecting your confidence, teaching you the things that you know are not good for you, and you follow them, in 10 years' time you're not going to see them, what have you gained? Nothing. What you've lost is more. Now that's not to say peer pressure cannot be positive, because it can be very, very positive. And that's what, as you get older, peer pressure moves to what we call networking. It's the flip side of it, where you need your network to get business. You need network to move ahead. You need network to know what's going on. You need network to gather knowledge. Extremely important, more important than a degree or certificate that you get. So yes, I appreciate the fact that when it was announced that I got a first class, everybody, if that was the only part, you were clapping. I appreciate that fact, but believe me, it's just paper. It's good to have. It's good to be very good in school, but it's not the end of the world if you are not the best. I hope you understand that. If you get a pass, it's not the end of the world. Aspire for the best, it moves you forward. But it's possible that you just did not choose the right course or subject in going to college, is why you got a pass. And so what that tells you is that that aspect you got a pass in is not what you are good at. So look for what you are good at. And I'm a very firm believer that every single person in this room, every single person in this world has a strength. I have a nephew. He's 19. When he was born with his twin sister. And the twin sister died in the womb. So she came out dead. But in that process, she slept as a baby on his hand. So he came out with the hands bent. Till today, it's like this, his left hand. I think it's his left hand, it doesn't really matter. So he has just one hand to write with. And this thing affects this guy. Anything, maybe it doesn't pass, or maybe the teachers don't like him. This. So I called him one day. I said, you know what? I just came back from Harvard. Do you know the teacher that taught me was a one-handed person? Big deal. Big deal. So whether it's academic handicap we have, physical handicap that we have, we all have a strength. Part of the path to success is to discover it. What are you good at? It's because I don't have the time. I was going to ask you round, what kind of job do you seek? Or even as an entrepreneur, what kind of entrepreneurship opportunity are you seeking? Because I seldom hear people telling me I want to be in the waste management business. You know, collecting all the debts. Do you know that's big business? How many of us think about it? If you look at where Nigeria is in waste, just managing our waste, and where the world is in waste, they are miles apart. Who is thinking of bridging that gap? A lot of us are thinking of the traditional things. Part of it is the environment that drives us, oh, lawyer, engineer, accountant. Yes, I'm a chartered accountant, but you know I really don't like accounting. Seriously? I really don't. When I'm introducing myself, I introduce myself as a change management consultant, as a strategy consultant. You don't need to be an accountant to be that. I enjoy creating new things. I see myself first even as an artist on paper. I love art, but I'm not blessed with the creative arts as the Alibabas. But I see the work I do of molding organizations, transforming organizations as a work of art. Is a way I have translated what I feel is my strength. And this is me. I got a first class in accounting, so it doesn't matter. I hope you understand. Discover your strength. We all have handicaps. For some of us, you can see it. For others, you don't. Discover your strength. So let me pause now and entertain a few questions from you. Are there any questions in the basket? Thank you. Right. The first question, I think, is drilling down on something I said. Is what does it mean to be optimistic and realistic? Let me use the Nigerian environment as an example. Or let me even give you my personal story. All my life, I've always wanted to change Nigeria. Every single thing I have done. When I was in my early 20s, I walked into NTA then. I'm happy NTA is here. And God bless Peter Ego, Dala Dibako, Hawa Ibrahim Funtua. They didn't know me. I think I was about 23 or 24 then. And I had a proposal to them that I wanted a TV program. I just come back on Commonwealth Scholarship to study a master's program in Imperial College. And all I was thinking about in London was coming back home to say, how can we become like London? This was in 1986. And they listened to me. I had no money, just had an idea. And Peter Ego then gave me the platform to start a program called Another Step. Another Step in the Development of Nigeria. It was a talk show format. Invite hosts, talk about what Nigerians can do and not wait for government. That was in 1986. How many years ago? 30. Where are we today? We still need Nigeria to move forward. That will always be on the table. We still need everyone to put their hands on deck. But I think as have moved from one idea to the other in trying to see what we can do to move the country forward, the country has moved, but not at the speed my optimism was at the time. Remember I said I came back from London, I wanted Nigeria to be like the developed country. And what I didn't realize then was the enormity of the challenge and the reality of Nigeria. And perhaps my approach may have been different, I don't know. So what I'm talking about is, do not ever lose hope, because that's another thing I find. Because as people, I remember when I was in the FRS, we had a students' tax club. And you could see from the writings of the students very unhappy with the state of corruption at the time, and even worse now. if you look at what's been put out in the newspapers about things going on. And you can almost feel people losing hope. And so when I say be optimistic, don't ever lose hope. The day you lose hope, you die. In every single thing you do, put in your best. And so in spite of the talk show in 1986 that was put in place, in spite of the fact that one did not make as much progress that one made, I continue to be optimistic. But perhaps a lot more realistic now than at the beginning. About what are the things we can do? What's the best way to go about it? Maybe you cannot change the entire country within a 5-10 year period, because I was also part of the Vision 2010 exercise. In 1996 or thereabout, we set out to talk about Nigeria in Vision 2010. And what we put as Vision 2010 in 2016 remains the things we still aspire for. Is that we need to step back and ask ourselves, what does Nigeria need? What can we do? If I break it down for you as individuals, I see that the realism is already setting in, which is good. That there's a reality that the kind of jobs that we felt were there, because I get a lot of, my husband and I and everybody else I'm sure, get a lot of questions, please, we need a job, we need to be employed. The jobs are not there. That is, office jobs are not there. But that doesn't mean you cannot make a living. That doesn't mean you cannot be a successful entrepreneur. That doesn't mean you cannot break boundaries. It doesn't have to be in an office. You can create new things. If you look at the fashion industry, you see people who started off reading law, being successful fashionistas. You see people who are who started reading medicine, leading Capital Alliance, and now the Minister of Trade. So, think outside the box. Look at what's on ground. Put your head on your shoulder. Keep hopeful. And believe me, you will be successful. The other question is, are you trying to say having friends is a crime? No. But be careful of your friends. Seriously, be careful of your friends. Surround yourself with friends that uplift you, not friends that bring you down. Takes you nowhere. Let me give another example. This time a niece of mine. Real life story. She's not here, she's in the US. She's part of a public school system. Very bright girl. Has this very tight knit of friends. You know what's happening? As she got into her teenage years, her grades started going down. So what her dad did was, you need to change school. Do you know that's an argument they are on now? She even told the school that they got for her that she doesn't want to go to the school. And you know, in the US, they take all those things very seriously. What is the reason? Friends. We're trying to make her understand. In 5-10 years, these friends are all going different ways. Don't look at today. If your grades were good, it's a different issue. The grades are dropping. So some friends do not help. I also know a situation where some friends, where you do study group together, your grades improve. Because you've chosen the right friends. Now, I'm not talking friends that will write the exam for you. Not those kinds of friends. Because yes, you may get what you call temporary pleasure. So you pass because they wrote the exam for you. But you are useless in life because you don't even know what was written. They ask you questions you can't answer, because ultimately you are accountable to yourself. Your friend is not going to go with you to interviews. Your friend is not going to go to you to ask for a loan from a bank. Your friend is not going to go with you to dress and look good. So you have to pick yourself up. But get friends that support you, encourage you, give you confidence. That's it. Otherwise, it is a crime to have friends who do otherwise. Believe me, it's just that it's a moral crime. It's not a statutory crime. Whereby your parent is supposed to be the one encouraging you, but reverse is the case. Please advise me, because I think I have more than 3 talents, but everywhere is not funny. Okay? My understanding? Okay. Please, how can I know what I really want to achieve in life? How do I build my confidence? The path to success will be hard, so how do we get there to make a difference? Very good questions. Let me tell you something. Life is tough. If somebody told you otherwise, the person is lying. It is not a bed of roses. And there's a prayer, and maybe Pastor Zodo can help me on the wife, that says you pray for a rough path. I know there are books around that as well. Because that rough path, you grow. You learn. If things are too easy, believe me, you should be worried. Parents, you have assumed that the parents don't encourage you. I'll take your word for it, because you could have such instances. 2 things. 1, remember your parents are always your parents, so you need to manage them as parents. I will focus on you as a person though. Read widely. Don't ever lose your confidence. Stay focused on what you believe needs to be done. Now, let me also add something. Look at it as a challenge for you, as your first test of getting into life, to move your parents away from that stance. It sounds tough, but look at it that way. Don't be intimidated by it. Be challenged by it. I don't know whether we understand. And whoever brought that question can come to me afterwards and we can talk about it. Get learnings from internet. Let me give an example. On the internet, I don't know whether we are aware, there are a lot of free sites where you can get courses for free. You can get certificates for free. If you go to Khan Academy, KHANACADEMY, Khan Academy, I don't know whether it's .org or .net or .edu. You have free courses. So if one way your parents are not encouraging you, for example, is not to give you money for school, or not to give you money to buy books, as an example, because I don't know the details. The world has changed. So instead of spending your internet pinging and chatting about that person's dress or the latest music, which is good too, but spend less time on those, particularly at your age. Go to those free sites. And if you do not have the bandwidth to do that, seek others who have the bandwidth to do that. And I know that is where we also need to encourage young people like you to have youth centers. And the church is something the church can do, where even within the church community, you have a place where people can browse. So the church provides that infrastructure. They don't have to provide it at home. And then you can go to that place and read. Get free courses. Improve your education on your own. So those avenues are there. How to build confidence? One simple thing I like to tell you, because that in itself is the subject of the seminar. Make mistakes. And don't be bothered about making mistakes. Don't be afraid about making mistakes. The more you make mistakes, the more courageous you are. So let me give an example of confidence speaking in front of a hall. Some of us are scared stiff of holding the mic. We don't want to come here. We don't like the mic. You know how to conquer it? Tell me. Come and hold the mic. Do it in front of your mirror first. Do it in front of your friends. Then do it in the large hall. You may not get it right the first time, not the second, not the third, but don't give up. Don't give up. If it's something you want to, and believe me, your confidence will come. And I think tied to that also is we should also encourage ourselves. Speak positively about people. Speak positively about the people around us. The more positive we are, the more we also attract positive vibes. The more we also attract positive people who in themselves will give us confidence. All right, so on this note, I think the time is up. It's been a pleasure, and I hope, maybe I should ask you before I leave, if there were 3 things that you remember about what I said, what would be those 3 things? Can somebody say 1, and another person say 2, and another person say 3? 1.
Be optimistic, but also be realistic.
2.
Surround yourself with people that will
uplift you. Thank you. 3.
Ma, you said
Have friends that will influence you positively.
That's similar to that. So let's have another.
You said that we should be the doer of the action because it makes the difference between us from the people that thought about it. Like, we should be the doer.
And I would make an exception of you because you wanted to talk.
You said we should not give up and that we should never lose hope.
Brilliant end. Thank you very much.